I am so tired of coming on this podcast every single week and telling you to stop playing T.Y. Hilton. Like, just stop it.
Mikey needs help.
Mikey needs help.
I was like, if you don't have Jeff Wilson in here, and if you don't run it on first down, I'm going to strangle you through that TV.
You should know better than everyone else. That fool tears you up when you plays you.
Yeah, but
Don't you want him on your team?
I have him at number 25.
Thank you. Fine. Todd's the reasonable one on this show.
I take issue with everything he said there.
Well,
I really do.
DeAndre Swift. He's going to break them tackles, son.
That's bold. That's bold. That's putting your nuts on the table right there.
Hey, there's the first time for everything.
Waxing poetic over here with Todd Diamond.
Dude's old.
So what? He's not as old as Brady, and you're jerking him off before the show starts.
I have Sutton in my top 10. I have him at number 9.
Yes.
You know what? I'm just canceling the league. I can't do this with you guys.
Good evening, MHA owners. Thanks for tuning in to the MHA podcast. You know who's on the show: Eric Lansing, Todd Diamond, Mikey Renault. What a week for those running backs here in week 8 as we go back and look through this past week in the NFL fantasy football. What's going on, fellas? Tuesday night, how we all doing?
Kickers suck. That's all I got to say.
Amen to that. Yeah, kickers are the worst.
Yeah.
Wait. Why are we starting this with kickers? I'm confused.
I don't know. I mentioned running backs for a second, but I got 0 points for my kicker, so I was just following suit.
Yeah. I got 1 point. I mean, it could have been possible. I could have gotten 28 points for my kicker, but no. Kickers suck.
Get out of here.
I know.
28 points from your kicker.
It's happened before. I've gotten the most I've ever gotten from a kicker is 23. It can happen, okay? It can happen.
How about those running backs, guys? 5 running backs with 30 or more points this week. We had 9 running backs with 20 or more. All 5 teams who had one of those running backs who had 30 or more points won this week. Go figure that.
That is
so good
an
job.
Awesome stat.
Well, there you go. It's only one I've got today. I was trying to come up with some MHA trivia. Couldn't figure anything out today.
So I don't have a chance to lose this week. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah. You've avoided. I couldn't think of anything. We just had our busts and MVP talk last week. So we talked a lot about it, about the guys who aren't doing well and the guys who are doing well. So it just didn't make sense to come up with anything. I guess we could do some MHA trivia. I think I shut it though. We'll do some quick MHA trivia. It's nothing crazy though, but
Time to play the game. Time to play the game.
So we saw what Christian McCaffrey did this week, right?
Mm-hmm.
He caught a touchdown, he threw a touchdown, and he ran for a touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
It's only been done 4 times. He's one of them to ever do it in the history of the NFL. At least I think he said since the merger. Can you guys name those 3 other players?
Sure.
Oh, really?
Wow.
Go ahead, Todd. Go.
All right. So, LaDainian Tomlinson is 1.
That's true.
Okay. The other one is. Oh gosh.
I thought he knew. He sounded like he knew the answer.
He sounded so confident.
I know. I know LaDainian Tomlinson is one of them.
We all knew that. We all heard that on the broadcast this week.
I know. I'll say. You know what? I'll go off script. Thurman Thomas.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect.
Okay.
Mikey, do you have any guesses out there? It's those 2 other guys are players we have heard of before. One I would say it's a really good guess. I mean, I don't want to say good guess, but it's someone that's, I'm going to say obvious, but I wasn't surprised when I heard who this one guy was. The other one, I was surprised. If you don't, you guys want me to give you the year of when they took place? Maybe that'll help. Give you a little clue here. We don't go too long.
Yeah.
So LaDainian Tomlinson did it in 2005. One happened in 2001, and one happened in 1979. So I'm not sure if that helps at all, but that's a little hint, I guess.
2001.
Were they all running backs?
No, one was a wide receiver.
And Randall L.
Oh, that's not a bad guess considering he was a quarterback. That's actually a really good guess, Todd. It's not the answer, but that's a good guess.
Okay. 2001 and 1979. Roger Craig.
No, Roger Craig may have played in 79.
If it's like obvious like 70s dudes, like the only like it's got to be like Tony Dorsett or like Walter Payton or like Franco Harris or somebody.
Well, Walter Payton is the answer for 1979. Well done, Miguel.
2001.
And then you said
Walter
the other
Payton,
one was what,
Hall of Famer.
2001?
This other guy, not a Hall of
So
Famer.
that has to be the receiver.
Let's see, where did this guy go to college? Maybe that'll help Todd a little bit. This guy went to college at Western Carolina. How much that helps anybody? Can you name me any kind of wide receiver from Western Carolina?
Western.
I definitely won't know.
Yeah, I was gonna think Jerome Simpson, but that was way. But it's the only one I.
So this guy, and I think this is gonna help. I think Mikey will get it after I give him this information. I'll give you all the teams he's played for. He started in 1997 with the Giants, played there for 3 years, played for Cleveland for 1 year, played with the New England Patriots from 2001 to 2004, Washington a couple years, and New Orleans to finish out his career in 2007 and 2008.
So that would mean that he played on the Patriots team that won the Super Bowl.
Wes Welker.
Incorrect.
No, I'm talking. I'm talking about the first.
Oh, the first
Super
one.
Bowl. Yeah,
Troy Brown.
he never played for the
Oh, yeah.
Redskins, the Washington or New Orleans. I think other guy that I can think of is David Patton.
And there's your answer.
David Patton.
No.
What the?
Yeah, no, right?
Jesus. What the? What? And he was the one that went to Western
Carolina.
David Patton. Jesus.
He was 1 of 2 passing that year for that touchdown. So he ended up scoring, let's see, 4 receiving touchdowns, 1 passing touchdown, and 1 rushing touchdown. So there you go. David Patton, Walter Payton, LaDainian Tomlinson, and now Christian McCaffrey. Ugh. All right, let's get through some news.
Well, this reporter was possibly a little hasty earlier. Would like to reaffirm his allegiance to this country and its human president. May not be perfect, but it's still the best government we have. For now.
Some things that we can talk about. I'm going to go through these trades real quick, and you guys can. I'll ask you about all of them. Once we get through the news, I'll come back and we'll talk about it. Okay. So obviously, lots of trades here today. T.J. Hawkinson, now a Viking, after being traded from the Detroit Lions. That was obviously a big reason because of Irv Smith from the Vikings will miss, I think, up to 8 weeks with an ankle injury. Chicago Bears traded for Chase Claypool, getting him from the Steelers. 49ers with Christian McCaffrey in tow traded Jeff Wilson Jr. to the Dolphins. I guess that muddies up the waters a little bit there in Miami. Bills trade for Colts pass-catching running back Nyheim Hines. Falcons trade suspended wide receiver Calvin Ridley to the Jaguars. I know Broncos pass rusher Bradley Chubb, not really fantasy relevant other than Chase Edmonds is now a Bronco based on all that stuff that kind of went through. Just some injuries, and if I miss anything, let me know. I went through this pretty quick when I looked it up and couldn't find anything more. I thought there was more that happened this week. But obviously before the week started, Jamar Chase out for a month with a hip issue, not going on the IR, which means he can come back before 4 weeks. But it sounds like he may not be back in 4 weeks. Cooper Kupp Looked like he suffered a major ankle injury late. Did get up, walk off on his own power. Sounds like he's going to be okay. So no big deal for Cooper Kupp. Sounds like he's going to play. And so that's what I have for the news and notes. If you guys want to talk about the trades, are we I get Todd, you have the TJ Hawkinson guy, right? So now he's a Viking. Are you excited about that? Less excited about that? What's what's going through your mind these days?
I'm jumping off the walls in this one. This is amazing. He's going to an offense now, where more high powered offense. Yes, the blank. The targets and stuff, are they going to decrease a little bit? Yes, because obviously he's going in the same offense as Justin Jefferson. But I mean, I'm ecstatic. He's going to a winning team that always helps helps the player's mindset when you're going to a winning team compared to a losing team. And the fact of the matter is that gives defenses now they've always had to just focus on Justin Jefferson. Well, now you got to focus on TJ Hawkinson. So I'm over the moon on that one.
Quick thoughts, Miguel? Anything different than what Todd said?
Okay, so I mean, of all the trades, that one is the one that surprised me the most, given that I felt like Detroit was building a good young offense. So I don't really know why they did that, but I mean, I don't know how much it really helps Hawkinson, to be honest. Like, Minnesota never really utilized their tight ends that much, and you can say maybe because they didn't have one. I guess we're fixing to find out on that. But if anything, I think it helps open up the other options with, Cook and Jefferson.
I definitely hope so. As a Jefferson owner, I feel like, I don't know, tight ends are tight ends, but they drafted this tight end in the first round, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And so I feel like he's underachieved, and maybe they feel the same. I mean, he's played a full 16 game season one time. So I just wonder if maybe now the Vikings, they have Super Bowl aspirations. They lose their tight end. They have to get another one. Detroit, 1-6. Well, I agree with Miguel. Like, if you have good parts, why would you trade them off? But I don't know. Maybe it was just something about. I mean, he's had an okay season, but even like in the pinnacle of the great start of their season, he had one amazing game, but not amazing games anywhere else, really. He had that 8 reception, 179 yard, 2 touchdown game, but not much since then. So I just wonder if it had something to do with it. Looking at the other trades, Chase Edmonds, is that fantasy worthy at all, Miguel?
That's like a wait and see kind of deal. I mean, he's on my bench. He's not startable right now. Nobody, even if they said they knew what Denver was going to do with him, they would be lying. So, yeah, it's a wait and see approach.
What about Jeff Wilson to the Dolphins? Now, Raheem Mostert's kind of stepped to the forefront of that kind of muddied backfield, but now that Jeff Wilson is there, is Raheem Mostert something? I mean, is he going to take? I mean, Jeff Wilson, when he came in for, who's the starting running back to start the season? It's eluded me. He was on your team, Miguel, got hurt.
Yeah, Chase Edmonds was the starter for Miami.
I'm talking when he was with the 49ers.
Oh, Elijah Mitchell.
Thank you. So when Elijah Mitchell went down, Jeff Wilson came in and was very productive. And so they get Christian McCaffrey and they send Justin Wilson over to Miami and Raheem Mostert. So maybe, I mean, at this point, you're rostering any running back that has any kind of potential. So I don't think Allen's going to drop Jeff Wilson, but I wonder if that'll be something that, they use as a weapon. I mean, Raheem Mostert has his injury issues, so not a bad thing to have a backup either, but maybe not super fantasy relevant. Todd, what about Chase Claypool going to the Bears? I mean, we've seen the Bears offense kind of open up a little bit the last few weeks. Is he's on someone's bench, but is he should be excited about someone we should be excited about going forward?
Yeah, absolutely. You're going to you're giving Justin Fields, in his second year, a big physical wide receiver, who's coming from the Steelers, winning organization longer than the Bears have been for a while. It gives Fields a big target to throw to. So and the Bears are kind of, in a little bit better shape right now this season compared to the Steelers. So this is great. This was a great move. I mean, they gave up a second round pick to get him. So, you're it's not like you're giving up a first. I wouldn't give up a first for him, but he definitely makes the Bears offense not dangerous, but it's signaling to Fields, hey, we're here. We're going to help you out here.
Yeah. Just looking at the Bears depth chart of wide receivers, he definitely will step in as the number 2 behind Darnell Mooney. N'Keal Harry, who we saw, I think scored a touchdown this past weekend. So I think I remember seeing him score. I was like, oh, he's still in the league. And so that just goes to show what they have wide receiver wise. So if they feel like Justin Fields is taking a step forward, not a bad idea to put someone else out there that can utilize his abilities. So kind of cool there. Any
Overpriced.
What's that? Oh, overpriced. Is that what you said? Second round pick too much?
For a team like the Bears, where their second round pick is going to be a high second round, absolutely. For Chase Claypool, this is going back to the offseason where it's just like teams just like willing to spend whatever on wide receivers. It's ridiculous.
He had 9 touchdowns through 2 seasons ago, but that was 2 seasons ago with Big Ben, who's a Hall of Fame quarterback. Anything else you guys want to say? Nyheim Hines, does that get interesting? Or, where should we be drafting Calvin Ridley next year with the Jaguars? I don't know. Anything you guys want to talk about?
The Ridley thing's interesting, but, it's not like, what Ridley did, obviously did wrong, but I think, he's going to have a chip on his shoulder coming in to next season. It just gives another weapon to Trevor Lawrence. I think that's what you're looking for. You didn't have to give up, obviously, anything really to get him. It was a 5th round pick or something. So it's not exactly giving up the farm to get this guy. So we'll see. It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting how, next year, how that will work out. So.
Yeah, maybe finally. We've seen the kind of merry-go-round of wide receivers coming in and out of Jacksonville, and none kind of really jump out. Christian Kirk, great start. He's been kind of, quiet the last few weeks, but Zay Jones, Marvin Jones Jr., yeah, maybe he comes in and ends up being that number 1. Might be interesting for Jacksonville.
My hope for Calvin Ridley is that Todd drafts him.
Yes, that'd be funny at the very least. But you never know. Todd likes his guys, right?
That's right.
Here's the thing. I'm not drafting him I'm not drafting him in the first round. If he's still there, like in the
second round, though. Second round.
No, if he's still there in the 7th round, 7th or 8th round, that'd be good value there.
Todd's ready to roll. Watch, he'll score that touchdown in preseason, and then it'll be all over him. All right, let's try to get through this Week 8 recap. As you can see, I'm still kind of sick, but maybe I have a little more energy than I did last week. Let's start things off. We'll go with the 5-2 Hot Tamales, top team in the league, taking on the defending champs, notorious CUP. No Mahomes, no Kelsey, no Eckler, no problem. Despite an early 31 points from A.J. Brown, racked up, of course, 3 touchdowns and 19 points. Let's try that again. Despite an early 31 points from A.J. Brown, racked up 3 touchdowns, and CUP also got 19 points from DJ Moore. Recent pickup, Deontay Foreman, he rumbled for 31 points. crossing the goal line 3 times. Jalen Waddle caught 2 touchdown passes for 25 points. CUP was still ahead heading into the Monday night game, but the Tamales got late touchdowns from Tyler Boyd and T. Higgins to come away with the 154-147 wins. Tamale stands alone at the top, 6-2. CUP loses their 3rd game in a row, falls to 4-4. I'm sure, Mikey, you were watching that game last night while fending off the dogs and the trick-or-treaters. And you got that late touchdown. I think it was Higgins was the second one, and you came out with the win.
Yeah, I didn't know if it was going to happen. I mean, the game script definitely helped me in that sense. The fact that, Cincinnati was getting blown out, it was forcing them to throw in the 4th quarter. But yeah, I mean, I was very, very nervous. It took an incredible play by T. Higgins to put me over the top.
Oh, you mean the offensive pass interference that didn't get called?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, come on. He's got the touchdown. You won. He's a little pushing there.
Yeah, come on.
That's okay.
It was
always
kind of
pushing going on.
It was kind of funny because that's how me and CUP's game went the whole time. It was like late touchdown after late touchdown. Zach Ertz, 4th quarter touchdown.
Yeah.
Geno Smith, 4th quarter touchdown. DJ Moore, really late 4th quarter touchdown. Yeah. And then, my guys, I had a 4th quarter touchdown from Gesicki, 4th quarter touchdown from Foreman, and then the 2 4th quarter touchdowns last night from Boyd and Higgins. So, yeah, incredible.
A lot of points going on in that game for sure. Exciting game to say the least. Exciting matchup, I should say. Next matchup, 3-4 Eaton W's versus 5-2 Lion Rip. Eaton W's, man, his triple threat of running backs and Derrick Henry, Nick Chubb, and Damian Pierce, stellar all year. They combined for 71 points. He also got which included a whopping 34 from Derrick Henry. 219 rush yards and 3 total touchdowns. Lion Rip got big days from DeAndre Hopkins, who seems like he's in season shape form, and 25 points. Travis Etienne, man, what a game from him. He's kind of just balling without James Robinson in the lineup. Of course, he did that against the Broncos defense, 24 points. But in the battle of QBs, Lamar Jackson outscored Joe Burrow 52-42, and Eaton W's is back at 500 with the 164-146 win, putting them at 4-4. Lion Rip falls to 5-3. My matchup, 3-4 Lemonheads versus 3-4 Kilgore Trout. A couple teams trying to get to 500. Kilgore scored a week high 178 points. Goodness, that's a lot of points. Kyler Murray had his best scoring week of the season, piling up 61. 39 points from Christian McCaffrey. Of course, that was tough to watch. I mean, amazing to watch, but just awful on the other side of that. Of course, we mentioned the passing touchdown, receiving touchdown, and rushing touchdown. Kyle Pitts finally had his first double-digit game of the season, 15 points. Lots of busts on my team. Justin Jefferson, I know he had 10, but for your first-round pick, he needs to do better. Mark Andrews got hurt early in that game, only 4 points. Doesn't help to get 0 points from your kicker. Kickers suck, right, Todd?
Amen to that. Kickers suck.
Yeah.
Football players,
Stupid
my
kickers.
ass.
But the Raiders' offense was a big fat 0 anyway, so no one really did well. Lemonheads now at 3-5. Kilgore at 4-4. 3-4 NWA, 5-2 Belt Sanders. Very low scoring game. I wish I would have played one of these guys. The NWA took on the Belt Sanders, and G Squad was able to squeak out a 107-90 win. Despite just 17 points from Derek Carr, Alvin Kamara balled out to save the day. 37 points, scoring his first TDs of the season. Had 0 coming into Week 8. Was able to score 3 against the Raiders. Tyreek Hill was able to tally 21 for the NWA. Josh Allen scored a season low, 33 points for the Belt Sanders. He had just 13 completions and 2 TDs. Also got a big goose egg from Ezekiel Elliott, who was ruled out before the game even started. Naughty, Belt Sanders. Justin Wilson Jr. and Gabe Davis combined for just 7 total points. The NWA have put together a nice 3-game win streak and now sit at 4-4. Belt Sanders dropped to 5-3. How about those Butterfingers? They took on the Cooper's Cousins squad. Tua Tagovailoa went wild against that abysmal Lions defense. 63 points, 29 completions, 3 touchdowns, and it leads to a 148-122 beatdown over Todd's squad. Dylan's team got a combined 33 points from I can never get this right every week. Ramondre Stevenson and Saquon Barkley Butterfingers got a solid day from recent pickup Taylor Heineke, but Darrell Henderson only managed to score 3 points versus that 49ers defense, and then 1 point from the kicker. Never good, as we mentioned. Cooper's Cousins have won 4 in a row. Now sits at 5-2, and those Butterfingers in trouble at 2-6. Todd, go ahead. Talk about that matchup if you'd like, or we can move on.
Yeah, I mean, hey, Jacoby Myers is fantastic, so that's something there. So, yeah, Najee Harris. I mean, 11 points, but yeah, let's move on. Nobody even wants Najee Harris. I don't think I could even get a bag of Cheetos for him at this point. So let's move on.
Not even the fire Cheetos, flaming hot Cheetos. No one.
I think that'd be an insult. I think that'd be an insult. They wouldn't even want to give those up. They wouldn't want to get. They wouldn't want to get. I mean, I couldn't even get regular Cheetos for Najee Harris, let alone flaming hot Cheetos. I mean, I don't like flaming hot Cheetos anyway, but still, I'm like, can't even get that. So yeah, let's move on.
All right.
Todd has regrets.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna be thinking about this one in the offseason a long time.
Someone who has worse luck than the Butterfingers, Chad Powers fan club versus those Gonzo Cats with no Zeke. Tony Pollard went absolutely ballistic against the Bears. 32 points from the Cowboys running back. Jalen Hurts was back from his bye week, scored 55, threw for 4 touchdowns, and a few of those going to A.J. Brown, as we mentioned before. And Dalvin Cook reached 23 points. 147-114 win over Miles' team. Of course, Gonzo Cats picking up the win. Dak was back from his injury to score 50, but another bad outing from Cortland Sutton. Continues to plague this squad, just 1 point from the Broncos wide receiver. As we mentioned on last week's show, talking about those busts, Jonathan Taylor couldn't get back on track, just 5 points. So now Chad Powers' bum club at 1-7 on the season. Gonzo Cats at 5-3. So those are your matchups of the week. Doe of the week. Couple of candidates. Miguel, did you see more than one?
No, I just have one.
The second one I have is just the Zeke thing. I don't know if you get away for that, but if you know a guy playing, he was out. I think he was rolled out like on Friday, and he still didn't put anybody in for him. Yeah. But yeah, CUP, right?
Yeah, CUP, because he could have played Herbert or Hines.
Yeah.
Over, Brian Robinson, and he would have had a shot.
Well done. So CUP, you pick up the Doe of the Week award. No. Sorry, he's struggling these days. He's got a decent team. He can turn it around. But this week, not so much. All right, let's talk about those stars of the week.
The cream of the crop. Nobody does it better.
We'll let Mikey go first.
Okay, so I am going to go with Christian McCaffrey.
That's
39 points. We talked about it. Passing touchdown, rushing touchdown, receiving touchdown, which wasn't even intended for him. It was intended for Kittle, but he went and stole it anyway. That just makes it all the worse for you.
What kind of teammate would steal from another teammate?
I don't know. He's so excited to be out of that crappy situation in Carolina that.
Well, you said it last week, right? That this is only could help him in scoring those touchdowns, and boy, howdy.
Yeah, once he give it a little bit of time. I didn't think it'd be this quick, but the explosion. But yeah, he's the same Christian McCaffrey, that's for sure.
We talked about those 5 running backs that had 30 or more. He led the way with 39. Unbelievable. Todd, give me a star of the week.
I guess I'll go with this is kind of a combo one, but Nick Chubb and Derrick Henry. Jeez. 34 for Henry, 25 for Chubb. It's ridiculous. I missed the boat. I really missed the boat. I could have. Nick Chubb has more freaking points than Najee Harris. It's gross.
A lot of people have more points than Najee Harris.
Sure. But who doesn't have more points than Najee Harris? Our kickers. There you go.
I don't know. I have to look that up.
Kicker has
how many points does Najee Harris? All right, we're looking this up right now.
Oh God.
Let's see. He's got 80 No, I'm sorry. No, looking at the wrong number. Hold on.
God. Great. It's not 85. It's worse.
Hold on. I'm on week 8. I need to go to the full season stats here. Oh, this is going to be good. Let's see. Going down the list. Najee Harris has 77 points.
Oh, God.
And I know my kicker's got more than that. Scrolling down. Carlson, 72 points.
Yeah.
If he would have had at least 10 points this week instead of 0, then maybe.
Yes. Kicker football players, my ass. Yeah. I know. No, that's nothing to brag about.
It's funny though. Sad and funny at the same time.
It is. It's. You just try to figure out what part is first, funny or the sad part. And I think let's be realistic. It's the sad part first, and then the funny part.
I'm gonna go on to all the kickers. I want to see if any kicker has more points than Najee Harris. Got to pick them all. We'll go to the kickers. Season total. Ooh, 2 kickers. Actually, 3 kickers have more points than Najee Harris. Graham Gano, Jason Myers, and Justin Tucker. 82, 82, and 78. Oh, man. That's got to hurt. Star of the week. You mentioned Derrick Henry. I just wanted to mention a stat I saw about this. The last 4 times he's played Houston, 200 or more yards rushing. That's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
I heard it on the radio on the way home yesterday. He has got 6 games of 200 or more rushing yards, which ties for the most all time. I didn't hear who he tied it with. That's unreal. He's got 6 games of 200 or more rushing yards.
I think it's Adrian Peterson.
Oh, okay. Well, good job. If that's true, way to go, Miguel. So one of the guys that we talked about during the recap. How about we I don't know. I'm trying to decide who to pick up from here. Let me go to week 8, and I'll just pick the guy who's got more points. How about Alvin Kamara, who had a rushing touchdown to go along with 62 yards rushing, 9 receptions for 96 yards and 2 TDs. This is like 5 years ago, Alvin Kamara, who has picked up his game here in the last 4 weeks. He was real quiet in the first 4 weeks, had 12 total points. I think he was injured for 2 of those games. And then since then, 18, 16, 13, 37. And so that's an average of 21 points per game, 84 points in the last 4 weeks. And good job by the Saints to really figure it out that if you're going to try to win games, give that man the ball. Mikey, did you have another star from week 8?
Oh, yeah, Donta Foreman.
Donta
Foreman, 31 for me. And man, they just look like a battering ram out there.
Yeah, no
I mean,
kidding.
there's no, there is no real like shiftiness or elusiveness from him. He just was just pounding people.
26 attempts, Miguel.
Yeah. Yep, he's just trying to run through people, and 3 rushing touchdowns is pretty incredible. 31 points. I never would have saw that coming.
I mean, Atlanta's bad, like defensively, but like, come on. Like, that is bad. You get to the point of the season where you're just like, I don't want to tackle that big honking truck coming at me. I'll just move out of the way. And they moved out of the way for 3 touchdowns, a 2-point conversion. It'll be interesting to see what he's going to do with Chuba Hubbard back in the lineup. In the other league, and I'll tell you this, Miguel, because I need a wide receiver desperately in that other league. So I offered Deonta Foreman for Chris Olave, just based on money-wise. It seemed like that was the best I could try to maneuver because I don't have that much money in that league. But I'm trying to sell high on him. I don't know if that's the right thing or if he ends up being a cheap, amazing running back going forward. I mean, he looked impressive, to say the least.
But it was still Atlanta. It's still Atlanta, though. You got to be careful with that, too. It's still Atlanta.
Yeah, he had 118 rushing yards the week before. That was against Tampa, who's usually pretty good. Although I know they have their issues. But Todd, did you have another star from week 8?
Tony Pollard, 147 yards rushing, 3 touchdowns. Zeke better really watch himself now because Pollard might take his job for like they might look at this situation and go, you know what? I think Tony Pollard's a better option. But yeah, he killed it. That's 32 points. Are you freaking kidding me? Golly, I'm 32 points over at Tony Pollard, and I'm running with Najee Harris, 11 points. Ugh, gross, just gross. Makes me want to puke or crap on the floor. I don't know.
They have to give the ball more. They have to give the ball more to Tony Pollard as they go along. I understand Zeke is Zeke, and he's on all your marketing posters and stadium pictures, whatever the heck, and this dude's way more efficient. And they just need to give him the ball. I understand Zeke's your dude, and I know Jerry Jones probably just loves him to death. And who doesn't? I mean, he's a character, and people love him. But man, Tony Pollard has just been doing it all year long. And if this is what it's like with more carries, why aren't you doing it?
Yeah, I'm just worried about Todd taking a crap on the floor. I mean, that's tough to get out of carpet.
But here's the thing too, is just
be there for that.
Yeah, no. But the thing with Zeke though too is, I mean, you got to figure too. I mean, how much is left on his? You got to realize. You got to think too is how much is left on his deal? Because if they can get out of that, then and put Tony Pollard as your primary.
They're not getting out of that deal. They're not getting out of that deal. I mean, I don't mean to interrupt you, but
you're
they're paying him so much money, and
how much is even left on the deal anyway? It's got to be coming toward the end or sometime. I mean. But I don't know, it's for another.
I don't know. Wasn't it just a couple of years ago that they paid him?
Yeah.
I'm trying to look it up right now. And he signed a 6-year, $90 million contract. Get off my screen here. So, I mean, yeah, his contract doesn't end until 2027.
Oh, jeez.
And he's 27 years old, which doesn't sound old, but he's been playing for 7 years as a running back. So that's old in running back years. So he's due a little over 12 million this year, close to 11 million next year, 10 million in 2 years, 15 million in 2025, and 16 million in 2026.
Jeez, he'll be like,
man, he ain't going nowhere. That's unfortunate. I mean, he may be on the bench and Pollard's eating up all the carries, but goodness gracious.
Yeah, no team would touch that contract with a 10-foot pole.
Well, and they can't release him either because, well, I mean, if you look, like the dead cap on that was 30 million. If they were to cut him this year, it was 30 million that it would cost him. But
6 million in 2024, so maybe.
Yeah, so it goes down. So, like, there's no repercussions once they hit that last year. They could just do it.
Yeah, but they could have last that long. I mean, I thought his contract was up. Like if it was like 2025 or something, or maybe 2026. All right, maybe you can figure out some wiggle room there. But 2027, ouch. Yeah.
Rough.
Yeah. I wouldn't go anywhere either.
Yeah, just keep feeding him the dough.
Yep,
because he's got a lot of it coming to him. One last one I'll mention was just Tua and what he did for Cooper's cousin squad, who traded for him a few weeks back, and didn't look like it was going to pan out for him. And in this world where quarterbacks just aren't a dime a dozen, as Todd likes to say, 63 points was huge. His best game by far since he had 86 in week 2, and watching it was 2 weeks. I'm trying to get this thing back up. 2 weeks ago in Pittsburgh, in like the first couple of drives, he was magnificent, and then all of a sudden it kind of came to a screeching halt. But when you have those two weapons, and Waddle and Tyreek Hill and Gesicki starting to get going, and Mostert is kind of toting the ball like a regular, like efficient running back, man, Tua could really blossom here the rest of the season. So I just wanted to mention him because he was huge in beating Todd. Because, I mean, Todd had some good performances, but Tua just didn't make it close. So, Mikey, how about you give me a bust from last week?
What, do you smell something?
Do I smell something? What am I, hard of smelling? Of course I smell something.
Well, there's so many, but I'm going to choose Devontae Adams and his 1 point.
Crazy, huh?
Whatever, 1 catch for 3 yards for a team that scored 0 points with a quarterback that had 17. That's just
Blech.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and your kicker that had 0. I forgot about that.
Yep. I didn't forget. I'm glad you did.
Yeah, but yeah, Devontae Adams is the bust of the week.
Yeah,
Um,
by
who's
far,
to say,
honestly.
who's to say like if, and it was an incredible matchup too. Like the
Yeah,
Saints have not been good, defending wide receivers at all. So I
and
mean,
Lattimore was out of the game,
yeah,
so he should have feasted big time.
yeah. I mean, he could have easily had like 18-19 and got Aaron the win, but
Yeah,
1 point.
well, that's gonna happen. Mr. Carr has those games. I don't know if it's all on him, but not good. Todd, do you have a bust from last week?
Yeah, and granted, I'm playing Miles next week, but man, Jonathan Taylor, 5 points. That one, that's got to hurt every single week. Like, the consensus number one overall running back is not looked like that. It's been bad. It's been bad. I mean, I know I'm complaining about Najee Harris, but Najee Harris wasn't as high in the rankings. I just had him high in my rankings, but yeah, Jonathan Taylor, not good, not good. And so I'm hoping he'll have another, have another stinker next week, and feel good to get a
Well,
win.
he's at New England. New England, the one thing they do well, or I guess I would say a couple of things they do well, right? They stop their best option, and against I don't know if Erlinger's a rookie, but they do usually do pretty well against a young quarterback. So you might be in a good situation for that.
Yep, because it's weird. Because both Prescott and he has Garoppolo too. All of them on buys. So we'll see what happens now. If I can't win against that, if I can't win next week, then yeah, it's just not my year.
Forget about it.
Forget about it. Yeah, forget about it.
One bust that I had was Josh Allen, and it's hard to say that because he had 2 touchdowns, but 33 points. And Green Bay's been pretty solid against quarterbacks too, so it's hard to judge it in that situation. But in a low-scoring game like that, even if he had another touchdown or a few more completions, it would have helped him big time against NWA. But 33 points, of course, by far his lowest output of the season. His previous lowest was 44 back in week 4. And so 33 points. Allen won the previous week without Josh Allen, and then unfortunately just did not come through. I mean, they won that game 27-17, but it was more they ran the ball pretty well and just didn't give a lot for Aaron Rodgers to have to make them come back and throw more than they had to. So just bad day for Josh Allen. I'm sure I may never say that again in the history of this, but because Josh Allen's that good. That's just what happened in week 8. Mikey, did you have someone else? You said you had so many.
Yeah, I mean, what is going on? We talked about this last week, but this is quickly becoming a Jonathan Taylor conversation with not just bust of the week, which he's is one of them. 5 points, 76 yards, and a fumble lost, but he's got to be like one of the worst, top, I don't know, 2 picks that we've ever had with the season that he's having this year. I mean, it's just not good. And his offensive line is still decent. So I know their quarterback's been terrible. I just don't know what changed.
Yeah, I don't know if it's some sort of undisclosed injury or, I mean, they just fired their offensive coordinator. So maybe, I mean, the offensive coordinator they had last year somewhere else. I remember reading that at some point today. I apologize for not knowing who that or where he went, but maybe that had a huge factor into it. You don't want to say that Carson Wentz was the difference, right? Because he was the quarterback, and maybe it's just the whole dynamic. Because I mean, even the defense hasn't been stellar either. They've had injuries on that side of the ball too. I don't know if it's contagious, and that's kind of the way the season goes. But for someone like we've had number 1, number 2s, number 3s not do well because they were hurt. Like we've had like Christian McCaffrey, right? He's hurt. that's one thing. It's something else when you're still getting 15 to 20 carries a game and still not out there producing. Something else.
Yeah, for such a good, like he was out of this world good last
Stellar.
year.
Yeah, he was so good. And just every week, if you didn't have him on your team, which was I think all three of us, we hated it going up against him. I mean, I remember watching him on a Thursday night game, and he's just like, I was like, oh, he's got like 12 points. He's okay. We held him in check. And then he busts a 70-yard touchdown run at the end of the game. It's like, fudge. Come on, man. And that's how good he was. And this year, not so much. And you feel bad for Miles and his squad because I'm sure he was doing backflips like, oh, Josh Allen went number 1. This will be an easy pick for me. And it just hasn't worked out. And that's tough because, that's a hard player to replace. That's a bunch. I mean, that is 20 to 25 points a week that you have to replace with one player, and that's really difficult to do. And unfortunately, he wasn't there for the Deonta Foreman pickup, or he could have been doing all right. Well, since he had 31 this week. Todd, did you have another bust?
No, that was pretty much that was it. Yeah. I can just go bust my whole team again, but I actually had a pretty good week, so I can't, I can put my kicker in there, but as a bust.
Enough of the kicker talk. No, I'm just kidding. I'm getting frustrated. I'm getting a little frustrated with Justin Jefferson a little bit. He hasn't scored a touchdown since week 1. Week 1. I mean, he's had double digits in 4 straight, but
that's not what you want from.
What you drafted him for, right? Like considering the season he had a year ago, and it's not like the team's doing bad either.
No,
like they're 6-1 on the season, but it's like Madison's getting run, and of course Dalvin Cook's gonna get his, and Adam Thielen's still in the picture, and we'll see if TJ Hawkinson comes in and rips some targets away. Frustrating. Anything else? What's that?
I thought you were gonna just bring up some more Tom Brady. Ugh.
I mean, I could bitch about Brady, but I mean, the landscape of quarterbacks, it's unless you have Mahomes and maybe Jalen Hurts and even Josh Allen, 33 points. And, I was looking at Lamar Jackson, who had 52 this week, but he hadn't had 50 in like 5 weeks previous. So, I mean, and if you look at quarterbacks in terms of their season total, I think Brady is 6th overall. So while I'm like, I don't know, like I should trade for a better quarterback. I was talking to Mikey about this. Like I should go trade for a quarterback, but who am I going to trade for? No one's trading Joe Burrow. Aaron's not trading Joe Burrow. I'm assuming Allen wouldn't trade Josh Allen. Mikey's not trading Patrick Mahomes. So, and maybe Justin Herbert. Even Herbert's had some bad weeks too. I just don't know if it's even worth it. I don't know. I mean, it's such a tough. I mean, that's all I did. I mean, I got home today, ate dinner, started typing out the script for the show, and I was like, all right, let's see what I can do for trades. What can I go out there and trade? And it's like, well, I don't think there's anybody worth. I'm gonna say not worth trading for. I would love to trade for Mahomes, Allen, Burrow, whatever, but like Kyler Murray, who had 61 this week. Before that, 39, 37, 46, 49, 49. Yeah, that's about where Tom Brady's at.
Yeah.
So am I really, like trading away good pieces? Like if you're going to trade for a quarterback, I mean, I don't think I'd have to trade Justin Jefferson, but I'd have to trade a good part of my team. Yeah. So I don't know. It's difficult. I could bitch about Brady, but I mean, I can't bitch about 45 points because that's probably like league average these days.
Yeah, true. I mean, I can't.
Mikey, tell me, am I wrong?
It is nice having Mahomes. I agree.
Shut up.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's amazing.
God damn it. I can't even get Kirk Cousins, Ian. Keep getting denied there.
Well, I mean, that's just it. He's a good backup quarterback in case something goes wrong. And I told you when you told us you made that trade offer. Like, well, he's got a bye week. Or, Kyler Murray has a bye week coming up. And so unless he wants to pick up Justin Fields or Mariota. And I even looked at that. I was like, well, should I pick up those guys? They have tough matchups. And even in their good weeks, they were mid-40s. They were just a couple points better than Brady this week. Because Brady's not throwing a lot of touchdowns, but he's throwing a lot. And the completions are adding up in a big way.
So
if he figures it out just a little bit where he gets 2 touchdowns a week, What's that?
Yeah, you tell Brady to throw it to Godwin instead of freaking goddamn Julio Jones and done shit and catches a goddamn
Oh,
touchdown. So tell
stop. You're
tell Brady, you tell him that I told you to tell Brady throw it to Godwin. Okay, Godwin, number 14.
If Brady gets one more touchdown a week, I'm in the 50s and I'm happy.
There you go.
But I can't. He is the 1, 2, 3, 4. He's the 5th highest scoring quarterback. Now he also has his bye week, so I guess we can take that in consideration. But he's, he had 2 really bad weeks at the beginning of the season, but just average. He had a 70-point game and a 57-point game, and he's been in the 40s since then. So it's a tough situation because who am I trading for? Kirk Cousins? And then what am I trading for Kirk Cousins? It's not like I have a lot of depth anyway to be trying to trade, and one quarterback for another gives me, 5 more points? I don't know. Maybe I'm not doing this fantasy thing right. I'm 3-5, so maybe not. Anything else? Anything you guys want to talk about from this past week? Anybody? Any team? Whatever.
I mean, the Broncos won. Broncos won, so that's cool. So that's something. I lost. The Broncos won. So that's and Jerry Jeudy had a touchdown. That was great. He was on my bench. That was cool. But the Broncos look good. That's all I care about.
Okay, cool.
That's been Bronco Talk with Todd Diamond.
Yeah, that's right.
Just create like a little intro. Yeah,
that's right. And then when the Broncos don't win, man, I'm getting off this ride.
Mikey, let's look at the landscape of the standings. You're up there up 6-2, and I'm not saying that you need to brag about your team, but just in terms of, we're not separated, but right now I am in 10th spot at 3-5, but I'm only 2 games back of the top team in my division at 5-3, and then second place is 5-3. So it's still a jumbled mess. I don't feel like there's any. You're separating yourself a little bit, but it just seems like there's still a lot of season left to go.
Yeah, I feel like week to week you don't necessarily know what's going to happen. I do feel like, if I'm being honest,
preach it, son.
I think that me and Aaron have an edge right now over the field.
Why is that?
Just team wise. Aaron may have lost this week, but he still, even though he lost, he still scored 146 points.
Yeah.
Like, when I lost to him last week, I still put up, about 140. Like, we're consistently putting up high scores week after week after week.
Yeah.
Even when we...
You two are by far the highest scoring teams in the league.
Yeah, and it's hard to match up with. So, and it's different. Like, Aaron has those 3 receivers, which I knew once Hopkins was healthy, it was going to be a problem. Having, Adams and Hopkins and Stephon Diggs. If those 3 get rolling all at the same time, with Burrow on top of it, realistically, and he has the best defense in the league too. Like, realistically, he doesn't have to get a lot from his running backs or his tight end. He just has those guys carry the day. Situationally, it's similar with me. I've got, my 3-man show at Mahomes, Kelsey, and Eckler. And then, Waddle has just been flipping amazing as a 4th guy. And then the rest of the guys just kind of chip in. I don't see a lot of other teams that kind of have like that known commodity every week. Like, yeah, Allen's got Josh Allen, but can you tell me anybody else like on his team that he can 100% count on every week? I don't think so.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that's kind of the situation with most of the other teams. I will say this. Kilgore's team has a lot of talent, but his team is reliant, I feel like, on whether or not Kyler Murray plays well or not. Like, there's a lot of ifs. I mean, he finally got a good week out of Kyle Pitts. So, like, his is like CeeDee Lamb had a good week. His is like all these guys have upside, and if they all hit, then he's going to kill people like he did you. But then they're just not consistent.
So, yeah, there you go. I will say the most points have been scored against me this year.
Yeah.
But it's not like I'm scoring a ton of points either. I think I'm averaging like 120 points a week or something.
And Todd just has problems.
Yeah, I have 99 problems, and well, Najee Harris is all of them.
I don't know if it's all Najee Harris.
Oh, it's all Najee Harris. He's put a
Clyde Edwards-Helaire. He was great the first 4 weeks and hasn't done much since.
So, here's the other, because he said you've had the most points scored against you, which is true. But look at the next two.
The next
two.
Who's? Go ahead.
The next 2 points against, it's me and then Aaron. So even with that, even with that, we are where we are.
Still 11-5 total record.
Yeah.
Yep. Indeed. So happy for you two.
Yeah.
No, you're not.
Oh, definitely not. That's fantasy football. Yeah. God, it just sucks because I don't hate my team, but it's just underperforming. Like I have great. I mean, especially with the emergence of Kenneth Walker, but because Andrews hasn't done his thing, and Justin Jefferson has amazing weeks and then average weeks. I can't say bad weeks, and Joe Mixon's not doing what he did a season ago. I really need Keenan Allen to get back on track. And Jesus Christ. All right. Well, let's look into the week 9 matchups. The number 1 team in the league, Mr. Tamales over here, will take on the now hot 4-4 NWA squad. We mentioned won 3 games in a row. 4-4 Kilgore Trout will battle the 4-3 Belt Sanders. 5-3 Lion Rip will take on the struggling Notorious CUP squad. Lemonheads at 3-5 will face off against 5-3 Cooper's Cousins, who doesn't have Saquon. Yes. And 4-4 Eaton W's will go toe-to-toe with the Gonzo Cats. And in the final one at the bottom of the barrel, we'll call it the bottom of the barrel bowl between 1-7 Chad Powers Club, Fan Club, and 2-6 Butterfingers. The week 9 buys, a lot of teams on bye this week. No Browns, no Cowboys, no Broncos, no Giants, no Steelers, and no 49ers. So big names not going in week 9. No Dak, no Tony Pollard, no CeeDee Lamb, no Nick Chubb or Amari Cooper, no Saquon, no Christian McCaffrey, no Debo, no George Kittle, and how about no Cortland Sutton for Chad Powers Fan Club?
Oh, and here's a good one.
At least you won't be starting him.
And no Najee Harris. Yeah, because that motherfucker's on a bye too.
I mentioned people that were fantasy worthy.
Yeah, well, you can go. Najee Harris can go think. He can go think about what he's done this season, and I'll tell you what he's done. Nothing.
Well, there you have it. Another MHA podcast in the books as we head into week 9, more than halfway through the season. Wish everyone the best of luck this week, except for Mikey and Aaron. I'll do those second.
Hey, did you know? I just looked something up.
Okay.
Did you know that this week was the 3rd time that I've scored 10 touchdowns?
So that'll do it for this week's show. Make sure you tune in next week. Get on that app and let's start talking some mess. Mikey can talk about his amazing fantasy football team if you like. But that'll do it for this week's show. For Eric Lansing, Todd Diamond, Mikey, and his amazing football squad. We'll see you next time on the MHA Podcast.